I welcome into another episode of the Lab presented by Wolverine. We are with a very special guest, the quarterback, our quarterback, Davis Warren. He is back. It's Victory Monday. This will probably get released, I assume, on Tuesday. Victory Monday after a big win over Michigan State. Davis, 13 for 19 on the day, 68% completion percentage, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks was another very important statistic I felt. Man, congratulations on the win. Congrats on your game. I mean, this is the key here is, it wasn't about you throwing 500 yards.
No,
Trying to eliminate some of these turnovers, 0 turnovers, 0 interceptions. Just a great game, man. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
feeling good. I mean, like you said, the no sacks. Physically, that makes my body feel a lot better
Yes.
on a Monday and a Tuesday, kind of heading into the next week. So, and that's all credit to those guys up front. They did a great job. The five guys that started, they worked their butts off. That was a really good D line that Michigan State had. One of the better ones I know that we'll face all year. And our guys did a great job passing off all the twists and stuff and different pressures that they presented for us. And
Yep.
that just really allowed me to feel comfy out there and be able to sweep the board on and go through my progressions and be able to sit back there and just deliver the ball to our playmakers. So it was a lot of fun and feeling good heading into this week.
Yeah, man. And Joe Rossi, their defensive coordinator, so he was the defensive coordinator at Minnesota prior to Michigan State. He 3 times in his tenure there, they were top 10 in total defense, twice top 10 in scoring defense. He's a really brilliant defensive play caller and defensive mind. Those simulated pressures, I was really interested to see how you guys would pick it up. And 0 sacks on the day is just so impressive. We were talking pre-show. You felt it was important to highlight the team and just what this meant to the guys. Can you kind of unpack that a little bit? I mean, it certainly was a must win for your team.
Yeah, and I think just kind of as reflecting on the game right when it ended, and then kind of getting in the post game media, and even today as we watch the film, just and being around the guys, like losing takes a toll on the whole team, takes a whole toll on the whole building. But I think through all that, the guys just battled, and we got a lot of hard workers in here, and guys that really care about Michigan football, care about winning football games, care about the pride of the winged helmet. And unfortunately, when you lose games, that doesn't always shine through. And I think it was important for me just to highlight that of all the guys and how hard they all worked through those losses. They didn't lose faith in themselves. They didn't lose faith in this team, and specifically on offense. And we just put our heads down and knew that we had to get better. And I'm just proud of from the O line to the receiving core to the tight ends and the running backs. I mean, like you said, 0 penalties, 0 sacks. Obviously, left some meat on the bone there. There's some things I know that we can do better and score even more points. I think we could have closed the door on them a couple times and we didn't, but just proud of the way the guys fought, and we got a lot of guys in this building who really care about the product that they put out on the field and take a lot of pride in playing for Michigan.
I mean, well said, man. And you earn the right to celebrate in the locker room. You earn the right to take those pictures with Paul. So you guys definitely earned it this weekend. And thanks for joining us, man. Because we got the hard hat award presented by Wolverine, and they send us over the key points of what we want to hammer home with this, and it's rolling up your sleeves, never being afraid to get back to work, grit, toughness, accepting and persevering through adversity, all these things that thank you for joining us because one, of course, your life story, but two, the adversity within the season. First start since Arkansas State. Can you kind of like take us through a little bit of that journey and kind of what's that like mentally to kind of start this season and have to kind of take a step back before getting your first start versus Michigan State?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Arkansas State didn't go how I wanted to. I'll own up to that.
But it
I
kind
failed.
of did, but you kind of did. Like you were 100% completion rating outside of the interceptions. I get it, but like that's the thing, right? Is you had a good game with some mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I took away, kind of as I reflected on those first couple weeks, is like and even talking with Coach Campbell and Coach Moore and kind of the rest of the group is like, there was a lot of good, a lot of things that I did well, but also, you just can't make the critical errors, and those hurt the football team, right? Incompletions don't hurt the football team, interceptions do. So that was just something that as I was able to take a step back and reflect, obviously disappointed and like feeling like more just for the guys, like let the guys down because I felt like we left points on the board and wins on the table because of kind of some of those turnovers and um, that starts with me as a quarterback. So it really, but as I kind of took that step back and got some perspective on it, I was like, hey, there was a lot of good stuff that I did, but the reality is, it's about everything that you do. You can't
Yeah.
be 90% good. You got to be 100 or try as best you can to be 100% good. So it just allowed me to take a step back. But I think Coach Campbell did a great job of telling me, like, hey, like you did a lot of good, and the reality is we might need you at some point later on. This team might need you, so you got to stay prepared. You got to stay ready. You're still an important member of this team, of this quarterback room, and you're still a leader. And so, um, you know, other guys on the team also sometimes didn't have their best game, and how you respond to a game that you didn't play your best is going to set an example for how other guys are going to respond. And so I think it was just important for me to, and like you said, like what I've been through in my life, like I feel like I have a really good perspective and mental fortitude to just push on and move forward. And it's important to me to be, an optimistic and be the same guy every single day. I don't really like to spend days being down on myself or being sad, or that's just not in my ethos at all. So it wasn't always easy, but after Arkansas State, that Tuesday practice was still coming, and I was
Yeah.
going to have to strap the pads up and still take snaps and be engaged with this team. And I just made it a priority to just, and those were some of my best weeks of practice. And then
Yeah.
just being able to learn from those mistakes. I watched every throw that Jared Goff made to a running back in last year, so got to see you know all those check downs and even watch some Tom Brady back when he was playing, and every throw that he made to a running back. Uh, a couple of those years for him, and I think just seeing that and realizing that you know, you don't have to be pushing the ball down the field every play, and sometimes the boring play is the best one. That's something that I got away from a little bit there in those first two games, and was able to kind of just get back in the flow of just being me and just kind of continuing to grow my game.
It's amazing. I again, thanks for taking us through that, because the mental battle is like the biggest challenge. And meanwhile, you kind of hinted at it. You have to stay even. Like as the quarterback, everyone's looking to you and you have to stay even. So could you show me that? Do you have the hard hat on you? I do want to see it real quick.
Boom, there it
Did you
is,
did
right
you
there.
sign it, or you already signed it earlier in the
Yeah, I
year, right?
signed it. I just signed it. I got it right there. So
Okay,
right
sweet.
next to Max and Dono. So
Good
those guys
company.
are putting their bodies on the line every week. So
Sweet.
I'm in good company. So
Nice.
there it is.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, because I know, talking to Wolverine, I think we're going to do something cool at the end of the season for some of our viewers. So, thanks for
Love
signing
it.
that. Thanks for unpacking that. Can you maybe? It seems like such an obvious question, but can you describe the feeling of that game playing Michigan State? Like it is different, right? I mean, it's
Oh,
turned up a little bit. The oven's a little hot. Kind of what's it like to be down there in a night game too? What an environment. Can you take me
it
through the
was
emotions of that game?
it was pretty special. I mean, we knew that Michigan faithful was going to show out. Being from California, like you hear a lot about Michigan, Ohio State, and then you get here and realize, oh wow, like Michigan State is also such an important game to this state and to our fans and to their fans, and it means a lot. The people in Ohio are across the border down there, but the Michigan and Michigan State fans, they're intertwined here, and uh, that was something that losing that game in 21, at 22, getting a win, 23, getting a win. You just realize how much this game means. And I think we all felt that going into it, knew how
Yeah.
important it was. It's one of our goals for the year to beat Michigan State. We say that every single year. So it was really special. And that environment was rocking. I know they were fired up. This is, a huge game for them too. So I think it just kind of came at the perfect time. We knew we needed to win that rivalry, just like you said, up the ante a little bit. And I was just proud of the way that we responded, even though we didn't start super hot, the way that we responded and just finished. And man, there's no better feeling than taking that trophy out. And I kind of knew where it was coming from back. Gary, the equipment manager, I knew he was starting to roll it out, and I made sure to be one of the first guys over there to get my hands on it, and me and Colson started parading it around. So that was definitely a feeling I'll never forget.
How about the difference in the game? Really, I felt like it was that middle eight. Like I've been starting to use that term, the middle eight, the 4 minutes going into half and the 4 minutes out of half. So you guys won the toss, elected to defer, meaning you're getting the ball coming out of half, and it was a really close game going into half. You guys break through, you get the touchdown. They decide to go in a 2-minute scenario, and they were going to try to, with Will Johnson out, they're figuring, hey, let's try to get some points here. And Josiah Stewart has the strip sack. Can you take me through, maybe after scoring that touchdown, what that next minute of game time was like before you got the field goal?
That was huge. That was huge. And we talked about the middle eight too. I don't know if that was when Harbaugh was here. He talked about it with you guys, but we did a presentation in fall camp. They do one about the middle eight. And, if you win the middle eight, you win the game like 60, 70% of the time, something
Wow.
like that. So it's a huge, don't quote me on that, but it's a huge indicator of how the game goes, especially if you're getting the ball coming out of half and you have the ball going into half. And that was just a huge spark for us, get that touchdown, kind of getting that no huddle mode, and just kind of spread them out a little bit and kind of distribute the rock. And then, yeah, I kind of thought, we were maybe kind of packing in for halftime. Kind of left my helmet there as watching the drive, and then before we knew it, I saw KG fall on the ball, and I was like, "All right, let's go get try to get something." We didn't have much time, so it wasn't really a touchdown that was on our mind, but I think that's just a credit to the situations that we put ourselves in practice every day. Coach Moore does a great job of that during camp and spring ball. We're always working those situations, and I knew the most important thing at that point was just getting a completion, giving Zavada a little more room for the field goal. And Donovan did a great job just kind of leaking out of the backfield after checking pass pro, and kind of felt everyone kind of get depth and the nickel kind of stay inside, and knew I had him as the last part of my progression, and put it on him and went and got 15 for us. And that really gave us momentum, and then coming out of half getting the touchdown too. So it was all just kind of rolling at that point.
Well, you just mentioned how you were watching the film of checkdowns, right? And it's
I
amazing.
mean,
Bro, I mean that's a 10-yard air throw. That's the easiest 15 yards you can get as a quarterback, right?
totally, totally. And we seen some stuff on tape, and kind of knew that might be there, and it was just something that clicked in my head and felt it. And just credit to the preparation, credit to the coaches for
Yeah.
the way we talked about it. And there's opportunities, when there's opportunities to push the ball down the field, we're going to do that. But if they're going to give us quick little check down to Dono for 15, we'll take that all day.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that kind of come through.
I'm always curious as an analyst. I'm sure some of our viewers are too. It's kind of cliche to say in the booth, but hey, you get into 2-minute offense, and hey, look, Davis looks really comfortable because it's the 10 plays that you've practiced for a few years now, and you're not thinking it's quick tempo, and the defense gets into shell coverage. Is that true? Is that fair? Like, what is it? Do you feel that getting into the tempo 2-minute situations kind of almost feel more natural as a quarterback?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, you start to, there's definitely something to the rhythm and kind of getting in that flow state of, you just have a good feel for what the defense is doing, and you start to string some completions together. But I think the one thing about that 2-minute drive too is we did a good job around the football.
Yeah.
Had a couple, Dono had a couple nice runs, and then the touchdown obviously was off a read action. So just I think it was just all in all, just like complimentary football. Once we got that first down on that third down, where I had to scramble a little bit, and then we were just rolling. So, and Coach Campbell did a great job, just kind of keep me going. And I think I mean, we didn't even use any of our timeouts, so we managed it pretty well. So,
Yeah.
we've practiced those every Thursday. We practice them almost every day in fall camp, so in spring ball. So, just they made it easy on me, and the O-line did a great job, so it felt smooth.
Man, let's just talk about Kirk Campbell real quick, because I thought he called an amazing game. Those touchdowns, like, to scheme Colston Loveland open is not easy. A lot of people have a ton
Yeah,
of attention on Colston, but to scheme him open amazing. The 2-point conversion, like I'd imagine, is that something you guys saw on tape with the motion to sit down? Like that's, can you just talk about what he meant from his play calling for the offense this past week?
Huge, huge. I thought he did a great job. I'd die for that man. I love that guy. I think everyone in on the offense side of the ball has a ton of respect for him and the work that he does for us. And I know he's still in here right now watching tape, and he'll be in here way later than this, trying to work on this game plan for Oregon. But he did a great job. I think, credit to the on the 2 minute drive. Like I knew what was rolling off his tongue before he even said it
Yeah.
on a lot of those plays, and then even on the touchdown drive on the next series and on most of those third downs. I think we started the game a little slow on third down, but finished 8 for 9 or something. Uh, and guys did a great job. So I think that's just a credit to him, the work that he puts in. Um, there were in those first 3 weeks, and then there were times that I didn't make him right when I should have, and I'm just glad that I was able to help him, because he can't be out there. So I was able to kind of just trust my coaching, trust what he'd been telling me all week, and make him right because he did a great job for us, and like you said, did a great job getting Colson open and Dono throwing the touchdown and Alex running in the touchdown. I think we presented a lot of different issues to that defense, and they couldn't solve them.
The flea flicker really wasn't wide open, but you ripped that sucker in there. Just take me through the play because that was a freaking dart, man. That was a rope.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was the flea flickers are great sometimes because you really get a chance to, without the ball in your hand, to step back and really survey the defense and kind of see what they're doing. While the running back kind of gets underneath the line of scrimmage for a second and behind the lineman before he pitches it back. So
Yeah,
Timo ran a great route, did a great job, just kind of setting the safety up and then breaking out, and kind of saw the corner start to feather off once he realized it was realized the flea flicker was in there. I'm sure they watched every single one that
yeah,
we've run in the last. I mean, since I've been here, we've been a flea flicker team.
yeah.
So I know that one in 21 that we ran was a good one, and then kind of moving from there and against Wisconsin, and it feels like every game or a lot of games we got a good one to run. So just Timo did a great job there, just breaking out and gave me a great opportunity to just cut it loose and felt good coming off the hand. That's for sure.
I'm sure it did because I mean that was a tight spiral. It was over Ed Woods, underneath Malik Spencer. Like you think flea flicker is going to be wide open and certainly open, but you had a tight window to put that in, and it was a freaking dart. You mentioned Alex Orji, and our broadcast team really wanted to emphasize this. The two-cat quarterback system it doesn't work for every team, and it doesn't work for every quarterback room, and yet every quarterback room says, yeah, we root for each other and we care about each other. It's different. Like the way Alex celebrates when you make a play is insane. The way you celebrate when Orgy breaks off a big run, it's really beautiful. Could you expand on that, man? Like why is it I know you're a competitor. Can you kind of talk about that dynamic? Why it's so easy for you guys to root one another?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it starts with him. I mean, well, I think it probably just shout out to both of our parents. The way we were
Yeah.
raised. Um, he's got great parents and comes from a great family. His older brother is playing the NFL now, and um, so ever since he's been here, he's just been a great kid, and we've really connected. And I credit my parents for trying to do their best to raise me and in the right way, and always be happy for the other guy's success and just being grateful for the opportunity. And so it starts with that. But then just being here and knowing the skill set that he brings, it's unlike anyone in the country. Truly, he's a stud, and another guy who just really cares about this team, wants to win. And then when he was going through kind of the same thing that I went through, kind of losing that starting spot to Jack, we just that was I've been through that. So trying to help him through that, knowing that he was still an important member of this football team, important member of the quarterback room, and trying to help him through that. I think our relationship just grew even more from that. We were already really tight. So, and then Jack did a great job too of helping us all out and being there for us. So just a credit to Coach Campbell and the work that he does with all of us, reminding us that, hey, the guy out there is just a product of everyone in the room.
Mhm.
And, we had to, I've been here and been in rooms that weren't like that, and I'm just proud that we have stuck together through all this. And there were times when we knew we needed to be better for this team than we were, and I'm just proud that and it started with me, and I'm just proud of the way that on Saturday when we needed both of us, and I think he was our leading rusher. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
it's just the defense has a lot to prepare for
yeah,
with both of us, and it's just really cool. I know when he's out there, I trust him. I mean, he was out there at the end of the game for a minute to close the deal, and that fired me up. So it's
yeah.
cool.
I've always been curious about this. You hinted at it briefly, just the challenge of having to sit down after spending some time as the starter. And I'm curious, what the mental side of it. I feel like some people simply you could be very talented, but there's a number or a group of people that just simply couldn't handle being the quarterback of Michigan because it comes with a ton of good things. It comes with challenges too. The pressure, the narratives. It's almost like the New York Giants or something in the NFL where there's just so many eyeballs on you and so many people are emotionally invested. It can be like a roller coaster. What's something you kind of learned about being the quarterback at Michigan this season, riding some of the ups and downs that you have?
Yeah, I think just I had an old mental coach, guy named Trevor Moawad. I don't know if
Yeah,
you know him, but
yeah,
rest in peace. He
rest
passed
in peace.
away a couple years ago, but he was really instrumental in my life. And I met him when I got sick. He went through a similar battle when he was in college, and me and him bonded. And I would highly recommend reading his books. But something he talks about is just that neutral mindset. Um, and you have mental coaches that come in and say, always stay positive. You're always got to be like positivity all the time, But the reality is that's just not the truth. Like you just can't be positive all the time. And then if you are, then you're really missing the truth. If I was over positive, then I wouldn't have recognized where I needed to improve. I would have just been like, oh, it's okay, smile through it. It's all good. I'm still great, And if I was too negative, then I would have just dug myself in a hole that I would never be able to get out of. So that idea of neutrality, that each moment is an independent event, and it has no bearing on the last moment and no bearing on the next moment. Whether that's and that can apply for you know a game, that can apply for one play in the game, one play in practice, one day of practice, a day that you wake up and you really don't feel like it. Um, but it's that was something that I really just hung my hat on through those couple weeks of like, it's not my job to have the perspective on if what's happening to me is really bad, it's really good. It's just my job to, keep being me
Yeah,
and stay focused on the things that I can improve on, the things that I can do, be super honest with myself about the things that I need to do better. And then at the same time, um, keep that mindset of, it doesn't matter how you feel, it's about what you do. And all I can do today is have the best practice that I can have, whether I'm the starter or the backup, and just, you know, and then I can, lay my head on the pillow at night and say that I did all I could for that day. So
yeah,
I think that idea and just always tending to my mind and being tuned into it was huge.
yeah. Hey, yeah. Shout out to Trevor, man, and rest in peace. He spoke to our team. I want to say my sophomore year.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, yeah. He
Oh, that's awesome.
Brady brought him in and like had hired him to do some mindset stuff for us, and just a rock solid guy, man. Just one of those guys is special and different. So I know he made an
Oh,
impact on a
yeah.
lot of
And
people.
and I still go back and listen to old podcasts he was on, or he used to always send me videos and of different stuff he was doing with Russell Wilson or different guys, and those kind of cues, those mental cues, just always ring true. And I have them in my phone, and I got the books whenever I need them, so it's always something I can go to.
Well, I know you got to watch some tape here, man. So I want to wrap up with one more question. Just what can that win mean to this team? It's you go from it's a must-win game to wait a second, your number one team in the country's coming to town, and that was a really good team win. What what can that win last weekend mean for you guys' confidence coming down the stretch of the season?
Yeah, I think it can mean a lot. Just knowing that, you put all the work in all summer, all spring, all fall, and then you lose. Especially around here, we haven't lost games in a while. We've been luckily, for 2 straight years we didn't lose a game in the regular season, which
Yeah.
is pretty hard to do at this level. And then things, like Coach Harbaugh used to say, always fighting the law of averages, and the law of averages came back and bit us a little bit. But I think it just inspired everyone, and I know we got a team of fighters, and when we're confident, like we're going into this week, we're a dangerous football team. So I'm just excited to see what we do this week. I'm excited to see the guys, attack tomorrow and attack Wednesday and Thursday. And like last week, there was no better challenge than a big, huge in-state rival coming into our place. There's no better challenge this week than the team that's ranked number one in the country coming into our place. And I know we're going to give it everything we got, and I think we're uniquely prepared now to
Yeah.
face these guys, and just more mature as a team, and especially as an offensive unit going into this week.
Completely dangerous too, man. Like a team that, yeah, you really at this point has nothing to lose. Like they're the number one team in the country. They're undefeated, and they're playing the Michigan Wolverines, coming off you guys' best game of the season, man. So I'm excited to watch. Thanks so much, Davis. I know it's a busy, busy time in the season for joining us and giving us some of that insight. I know the fans appreciate the way you've carried yourself this year, and really glad to see it all just come together, come to fruition, and put together a good team win and a good individual performance. So always a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining.
Great, thanks, Jake. Appreciate you, and go blue.
Go blue. All right, we'll see you guys next week.